Hello, and welcome to the first Forex forecast from the market's middleman for 2026. I hope you all enjoyed your holidays, refreshed, and ready for the greatest year ahead in trading. So, as usual, back to the charts, back to the forecast, and preparing our levels before the week starts. And for this sake, I get into the DXY as usual, starting this time from the monthly time frame. So, what I've seen from the monthly time frame, okay, and especially on December, is that December was a bearish month, okay, obviously, closing below the low of November, as well as inverting this bullish fair value gap after sweeping this buy side over here, which was August high. So, sweeping August high, creating this bullish fair value gap, which got inverted straight away and leaving the low of December high probability to be taken. So the high of December should be protected and the low of December should be taken, and as well as the low of October. So this just gives me the overall bias on the monthly time frame. But of course, if I want to have more information, this is where I go into the weekly time frame, and still basically the narrative is still the same. However, just because price consolidated last few weeks due to the holiday, that doesn't mean I changed my overall bias, but it just means that I'm no longer aggressively selling the DXY from here. In fact, I'll be waiting a little bit. So this was the gap that is more visible on the daily time frame, and this is October's low. This is October's low over here. So this is the sell side that I want to be that I want to see getting swept. Now, on the weekly time frame, I would take this as a weekly order block only if I saw a close below the low of it. So let's say this week closed like this and we've had another bearish week and right now price is retracing. Yes, I would take that as an order block. But in this case, since price couldn't close below the low of it, then this level over here is not as significant as I need. One thing I've had on the daily time frame is the unmitigated daily fair value gap from last couple of weeks. So from December 19, we've had this daily fair value gap. Price couldn't balance it yet. Okay, so it reached just before it and then it went to the downside. Now notice something and why I'm being very patient to continue the trend lower, even though I'm still bearish overall, is the fact that after creating the sell side, price closed below it and then continued moving down. The sell side closed below it, retrace, moving down. The sell side over here also closed below it, price moved down, and but notice the last low which was made on December 16, at least on daily basis, it failed to close below it. So you've had no market structure shift ever since that low was created. So right now, in other ways, another perspective, I have a buy side resting just before a daily imbalance. So this is really important, knowing that this daily imbalance is rested just at those relative sell sides over here and a past breaker block. So this is really important. And why I have an OB on the 3-day time frame, I just set this on my charts just in case we've seen some extra manipulation. The body of this candle on the 3-day time frame is the only order block within this wave to the downside. So we can view this as following. Price sweeping this external buy side, then creating another sweep, and then displacing lower from this low over here, creating a 3-day order block. So price can still go up into this 3-day order block and then go down in case price wanted to retrace higher. So again, on the lower time frame, we can see something like this. We might see the DXY still trend higher within the week. So over here, I'm going to be observing for any kind of reversal pattern so that we can join sellers and potentially continue the move to the downside. Now, alternatively speaking, I would be changing my mind if I see something like this, not really respecting this daily fair value gap and changing the market structure shift, especially after closing well above this buy side, then in this case, yes, I'll be changing my mind and then I'll look for potential alternative buys. But until then, I'm still overall short on the XY. It's just a matter of waiting a decent reaction and, of course, the optimal discounted markets. Now, moving forward to the EU and starting with the weekly time frame, and we see what November, December made already on the weekly time frame. So we've seen this was the last breaker. Then price swept the sell side, refusing to continue lower. In fact, created another breaker that was broken above it, retraced back to it, and then continued the displacement to the upside. Notice that there's still those internal buy sides not taken, and this buy side from September that is not taken yet. So I'm still bullish overall on the EU, especially on the weekly time frame, and I've seen also a weekly fair value gap developed already, which was the low of this candle and the high of this candle. However, this fair value gap is not in a discounted market. Okay, it's actually high. So what I've seen is something else. I've seen this breaker block over here, okay, which was respected within this candle, and I've aligned this weekly breaker with an interesting daily area, which is the daily fair value gap. So around this level over here, I have the daily fair value gap, the daily breaker block, and the weekly breaker block as well. So this weekly fair value gap on the daily time frame, it's two relative equal lows. So it's a sell side nested just before a daily fair value gap, which usually those are the highest potential um, for algorithm to sweep and then offer us a very nice continuation to the upside. So what I'm expecting from the euro is probably some manipulation beginning of the week to sweep either Friday or Tuesday's high, but then eventually I want to see a raid through those two sell sides, tap into the daily fair value gap. Maybe we're gonna see an extra push lower just to fill all the daily fair value gap and tap into the weekly breaker block. But from here I'm gonna really be observing price for any kind of bullish structure. So at least such areas would be enough or significant enough to push price back into those external lows or external highs, sorry. And in this case, even within this push, you can still get 3 to 4 R. And maybe we're back bullish to join just the overall trend and sweep this buy side that is not taken yet. So it's very simple for EU. Maybe also price would offer us a nice short entry if in case we've seen something over this or we've seen a retracement over this level or the daily order block, and then we can take a short position into the sell side slash daily fair value gap. Or if price was just opening aggressively lower, I'm gonna wait for this area over here to take any potential buys back into this buy side and this buy side as well. So the plan for the EU is really very simple. This is the most significant area of interest moving into this next week. So last but not least is GU or the pound, and on the weekly time frame we see clearly how price is still able to close above this weekly high, which opened on December 15, and this high of the week is not taken yet. And we've seen also closing well above this last breaker. Why I call this breaker? Because it was the last consolidation or a last liquidity buildup just before the last manipulation leg to the downside. So this was really important high over here in terms of weekly closing and opening basis, and we've seen how price was able to close well above it. And noticing those buy side, yes, GU have taken most of them, but there's still one more buy side not taken yet, as well as this one. And overall, I'm still bullish on GU. So the areas that I'm looking forward is the body of this closing week over here. Okay, so what is the difference between this one and the one I showed you on DXY? Is simply because price closing well above the high of this doji slash weekly order block. So I'm interested within the body for a lot of reasons. Okay, and for this sake, I'm gonna go into the daily time frame. And we've seen the daily time frame is still making higher highs, higher lows, okay, and still displacing well above the last buy side that was created. Now we are seeing an extended push to the downside, yes, because we've taken this important buy side, but this one is still not taken yet. So is there still a potential for the upside? Yes, there's still this buy side and this unmitigated fair value gap. So, are we still bullish? I think yes, we are still bullish, even though short term market can still consolidate to the downside. Now, previously I've had this breaker, but since price pushed lower, okay, and then couldn't close above the high of Thursday or Wednesday, then I think yes, price has the potential to go down. Now, I was talking about the weekly order block, and the reason for it is the following. First, this is also a daily order block, the last down closing candle before the last push to the upside and change in market structure. So we've had the weekly order block and a small daily order block as well. And also notice something around this area. Look how many times price respected this level over here on a daily closing basis, and ever since it closed above it, it refused to close back below it. So this is also very significant liquidity over here on the GU. It's really very important. And if I take a feeble level from the last push to the upside that had broken and changed the market structure, it is the 705. So look how many confluences I have on this level over here. So yes, I wouldn't be surprised to see GU tapping one more time, sweeping this low that was created on Wednesday, last trading day of the week, and then tap into this critical level around 13380 and then continue its push to the upside at 27 fib extension, or at least until this last external buy side as well. So also my plan for GU is really simple. Maybe, yes, maybe we're gonna have a short position. Let's say Monday would sweep the high of Friday and then create an internal high, and then we can see a clear reversal over here. Maybe we can have a short position just before we take our longs, but over here I'm gonna really be observing price for any potential push to the upside back into again those buy side, which is already a two relative equal highs. So with that being said, I really have nothing else to share around EU and GU. Those are the my plan moving forward into this beautiful week. So I hope you enjoyed this forecast. Mark your levels. Be ready from tomorrow. We're getting back in full action mode. And good luck. Hope you enjoyed your weekend, and I'll see you soon.